Hello and welcome back to round 4 of Legacy for Friday Night Magic. This is Graham again, and we're joined this time with James in the commentary booth.
How you going, man?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. So we had you on camera earlier in the night playing some aggro lime. How'd you go with that?
That was carnage.
That was carnage? Okay, sure.
It's a Friday night. We're tired, but it was fun, and I played great. But
That's
I
okay.
guess you can all see what happened.
So we've got the person who defeated you, Justin Ventura, coming up on camera. He's on Punishing Maverick, as we all know. And playing against him, we've got Stephen Mead playing Jun. So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I think it'll be a pretty grindy one. But I mean, so you got green white X versus green black X.
Yeah,
similar decks, but we'll see if the white or red is the edge.
Exactly.
We got some Arlen Chords in the main deck.
We've got some Huntmasters in the main. So yeah, that's a little bit of a spicy one. As I said earlier, I played against it with Miracles, and you just want to get rid of it right away.
Well, yeah, I mean that's Jund. That's what it does to Miracles. That sort of describes most of its cards, though.
Yeah, the Abrupt Decay is a little bit more dead now, but we'll see exactly what happens. And then, Justin, as I said, fairly new with the Punishing Maverick deck, usually known for the unfair combo type decks. Looks like we're getting straight into it. So Stephen Mead is on the lead, and I think I saw a Deathrite in his hand there. So
perfect
see
start,
that
right?
coming down straight away.
That's exactly what Jund wants on turn 1. Generally, yeah, no, I don't think there's a better start for Jund.
Yeah. So I think one of the key pieces that we've got here is just Justin having access to Mother of Runes, and if he can use that card, it shuts down a lot of the removal options that Stephen has for either Abrupt Decay or for Punching Fire. And there we see
Justin has passed the Can You Kill the Deathrite Shaman test.
Yep. So the Goblin Lucky would be getting through if he had one. And so
followed up by Wasteland.
Fetched into the graveyard. Yep, okay. There we go. Wasteland on that side, and just continue to play. So these are both mid-range decks, so it means that they're going to be playing the longer game where they can, and just very much trading off creatures on each side of the board.
And as you said, Justin has access to Mother of Runes, which usually leads to breaking up board stalls, tries to blank a lot of the Jund removal. But, that might... Depends on... So what have we got in hand from Steven? We got a Hymn to Turak.
A Tega.
That is an Arlen Chord.
That is an Arlen Chord. Well, there we go.
Alrighty.
So there's going to be a whole bunch of abilities on that particular card. I don't know all of them, but I'm sure we can find out fairly soon.
So Arlen Chord has 4 abilities, 2 on one side. Until end of turn, it is a +1.
Yep, so we'll look at that in a few moments. We're seeing Hymn to Turak from Stephen's side. And that's hitting Justin's side, so 5 cards at the moment.
Yeah, this will be good. He'll be able to trade off a bunch of his resources early after the early Wasteland and hopefully knock him off balance by getting a couple key cards.
And we take out a Sword and a Grove of the Burn Willows.
Well, if he doesn't have another land in hand... No, he does.
So there's a Wasteland there, a Fetch Land, a Deathrite Shaman, and a Thalia. So looks like he goes with the Thalia option, and I... takes him off the red mana.
Very swingy so far.
Yeah,
Wasteland's exchanging lots of resources. What we got here?
So there's a Lightning Bolt. Uses that on the Thalia.
Back down to 2 permanents apiece.
Yep. Okay, so we see Deathrite Shaman swinging in with the Dryad Arbor doing work.
Bash, another Lightning Bolt off the top for Steven. Probably going to aim it at that Deathrite Shaman. Yep. Everything being answered by everyone except that Dryad Arbor. Will it go the distance?
Yeah, and he's got another Hymn to Turak in hand, and Justin's already a little bit behind on his hand, so this, if he can land it, that's definitely going to do quite a bit of work. and cast a Grimflayer instead. So Grimflayer is a 2-cost, which if he's got 4 different card types in his graveyard, gets +2/+2.
Three types.
We're tracking Delirium, so we've got 3, needs another 1. When it hits a player, you can also look at the top 3 cards and put any number into your graveyard, and there's Punishing Fire and a Dead Grimflayer. So, as we said, it's mid-range, very much trading resources, and haven't seen a creature stick around for very long.
Pretty importantly, though, I think Justin's down to no cards, leaving Steven somewhat ahead. Maybe not on board, but he's definitely going to be able to land something interesting next turn.
That's right, and as you said, that Arlen Cord is in his hand, so can you give me a full list of exactly what that does, James?
So it starts with 3 loyalty, and it's got a +1, and it gives up till end of turn, a creature gets +2/+2, vigilance, and haste.
Yep.
It is also got a 0 ability, which
makes a 2/2 green wolf.
Ah, there it is. Cool.
And then if you flip it over, which happens if you make the wolf, it also has the ability to +1, give creatures you control +1/+1 and trample, -1 to deal 3 damage to target creature or player and transform it, and -6 creatures you control have haste and tap deals damage equal to its power. So that feels like it would take over the game in this kind of matchup if it does get down and resolve.
Well, if Justin manages to get down a Grove, generally that's the cleanest answer Maverick has to Planeswalkers, so it'll be pretty key as to what he draws next.
It's fair. So he's just drawn a Stoneforge Mystic off the top and having a look at his options. We've got a Jitte and a Batterskull in there, I know, from the last game, and I don't know if we've got a third equipment.
I would expect it's just the 2. Sometimes they play the Sword of Fire and Ice, but in the Punishing Maverick in particular, with all the Thalia effects, it tends to keep it a bit cleaner.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we'll probably see that coming down soon, because he can cast it next turn. And we have seen both the bolts disappear from Steven's hand, so I'm not sure we can deal with that immediately.
Honey, what do we got?
We haven't seen that second Hymn-to-Turak, so we may just see that to try and get rid of the Jitte as a overcosted Duress.
There we go. So we've got a
getting
1,
rid
2,
of
and a 1, 1.
one card at random of your 1 card.
If there are 2 or fewer cards in hand, discard them.
That's right. So passes back, and we're hitting him with Squire and Dryad Arbor. So just shuffling up at the moment.
Justin bashing in with a bunch of idiots, but going back to Steven, and we're hoping to land a pretty cool Planeswalker here.
Yeah, goes for the Wasteland. So, in terms of the bigger Planeswalkers that Jund plays, the other things that we see in addition to the Arlen Cord are things like Garruk Relentless and...
Garruk Relentless was a big one when Miracles was quite rampant. We're not seeing as much of it nowadays. We're certainly not seeing a lot of Arlen Cords, but I think that's a bit of a pet card for Steven.
Yeah, it's something where you're just really wanting to produce tokens and be able to take over some amount of control of the board for as little input as possible that you need to put in. So once it's down, it's just going to keep making those 2/2 wolves every turn, whereas your opponent is only trading 1 for 1 instead. So it's just doing that much extra work.
The thing about Arlen Cord, though, is that makes it a little wonkier than things like Garruk Relentless, is that to flip back over, you've got to do the negative. So it will eventually have to start ticking up back when it's on 9 lands. That's a huge Knight of the Reliquary.
Yep, so with the Knight as well, it's interesting if you compare it to your deck. You're very much going for, you've got the combo pieces in there, so Dark Depths and Thespian Stage, but this is just pure value. It's just trying to make it big, get some Wastelands in play, get the Bojuka Bog if you can, and then beat him with a big idiot rather than trying to do anything too special and have that toolbox access that you do with the Naya Loam deck that you play.
Absolutely. Well, in Nihilome, I would say Knight is a bit more of an engine piece, but in Maverick, it not quite as pivotally as an engine piece. Sometimes you just play, the 3-mana, or what have we got, an 11/11? 3-mana 11/11.
So he deals 3 damage to the Stoneforge Mystic, killing that off. And for the moment,
Nice draw.
Steven can just all day long just chump block with those 2/2s that he's making. But it does mean that he needs to flip it back every turn in order to do so. So he needs to find some sort of answer to that Knight of the Reliquary, and I think the only thing he's really got in the main deck is going to be Abrupt Decays.
We haven't seen any of those yet, so I imagine he's got a 4 in his list. So
I think he's got 2 in the main and 2 on the board.
Right.
But I'm not 100% certain. I was speaking to him about his boarding in the earlier game, and I'm not 100% certain about that.
Here we go. We've got the Grove. That's going to be pretty precarious for Steven to...
Yeah, so he's already had the Punishing Fire in his graveyard from earlier, so I think this is going to see the end of our Alan Cord, and then just the Knight taking over the match.
So we've got Punishing Fire returning to his hand. I'm not
Goes for the
sure
Deathrite instead.
The Deathrite could have eaten the Punishing Fire in response?
I'm not 100% certain when he played it. May have just been the last turn, though, but no mana was tapped at the time, so not 100% certain on that.
It's definitely key to get rid of that Deathrite, though, because it makes the Punishing Fire combo a little difficult to maintain.
That is, a little bit hard to play around once that's in play. Looks like they're just checking the life totals a little bit.
So this huge Knight's going to be bashing over. I assume we're going to see some... I guess the big question here is he going to let Alan Cord die, or is he going to chump block with the Dark? Steven has just attacked for 4 with his Wolf.
Yeah.
Oh, he gave it haste.
So he gave it +2/+2, vigilance and haste, and attacked into it, and Steven elected not to block with his gigantic.
So we got a Punishing Fire back in hand.
Yeah, and at the moment, if he can just keep using that Punishing Fire engine, then he's going to be ahead the whole time.
He is eventually going to produce enough value, and he's just going to get through with that Knight eventually, and he's got the inevitability here.
Yeah, so as I said, Steven just really needs to find that removal piece to work out what he is going to be able to do here.
Justin's respecting Dark Confidant with the Punishing Fire, so he can't find any answers to his big scary monster.
Yeah, so both the players are down to 0 and 1 cards respectively, so they're just trying to trade resources. Justin electing to use the ability just to pump it a little bit more.
Justin's having a bit of fun with this Knight. Might have attacked there myself.
Feel that's what I would have done as well, especially since it means that he can't pump and the creature he's got over there this time, but goes for Grove, gets a Punishing Fire back again. Can't cast immediately though. I'm not sure what that second card in his hand is though. It's a Wasteland, sorry. And it looks like we're just going to pass back in this case, and Steven is just praying for a...
Alrighty. So I think they're just discussing...
Praying for an Abrupt Decay off the top. So
here we go.
I think you have to actually take the... no, it doesn't matter if you take the Black Source, so it won't matter. So
yeah, well, he had
Abrupt Decay off the top regardless. Or nothing else.
What do we got?
You don't know. So once again, pumps and swings in for 4.
I think we've got a land.
And we've got a land, so I don't think that bear over there is long for this world.
That vigilance, doing a bit of work.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we're finally going to see the Punishing Fire to the bear, and I would assume he's just going to go to face here.
Yep.
With the Knight. Shields are down, attack you for a million.
So that's 13 plus 2 power and toughness.
15 exactly.
15.
Alrighty. So we saw... The Planeswalker didn't affect the board quite as much as you'd hope, but eventually...
And once again, the Punishing Fire engine is just something that does work here. I can see there that Justin brought in some Fixing Revokers, so obviously respecting those the Planeswalker that he just saw, and obviously the Death Rights are there. Stephen brought in, I believe, 3 Leyline of the Voids, so just cutting off some of the night, any of the things which use the graveyard.
Turning off both of his.
Do you know what that top card is? That Justin just put away? I don't personally. So we see some Life in the Loam, a Tireless Tracker, and then we're just having a quick look at what we're bringing out.
I think
the Scrib Ranger comes out.
I imagine he'll be bringing in a Bojuka Bog in hoping to get some of Stephen's own Punishing Fires.
Yeah.
Is he on a punishing list?
I don't believe Stephen's playing Punishing. He's just playing some of the Huntmasters instead, as I mentioned earlier.
Sure, so Big Jund.
Yes. So the Bojuka Bog is in the sideboard, is it?
Yeah, so this list is playing 3 Crop Rotations and a Bojuka Bog, so just a bit of a clean way to answer Graveyard. It only does it once, but I suppose there is the cuteness of wastelanding your own Bojuka Bog and then loaming it back. But
that's true.
It goes for the proactive approach of graveyard removal.
Yeah, so I had a lot of fun against a Dredge player. I Bojuka Bogged them 4 times in one game.
With a single Bojuka Bog?
With a single Bojuka Bog while I was on lands. Which is very enjoyable.
So he's got... Oh, he's keeping those Crop Rotations in the side. No Bojuka Bog there, so I think he's cottoned on that there's no Punishing Fires in Stephen's list. So we've got... Looks like Stephen's...
Looking at some extra Planeswalkers, we'll see, and a Sylvan Library. So we've taken out a Sylvan Library and 2 Planeswalkers, and we're bringing in...
The Ley Lines.
And we're bringing in the Ley Lines. And just a couple of extra cards.
It's an interesting approach. I generally like Sylvan Library in these mid-range offs, just so you can... Because you're going to exchange resources very quickly, go down to 0 cards, miss a lot of land drops because you're going to be wastelanded out the wazoo. But
and we saw in your match against Justin, there was 2 or 3 different libraries which made an appearance very quickly.
Yeah. But I think Stephen's just taking the approach of upping all of his, increasing his threat density rather than...
Yep, so Tyrone has defeated Ben, who was, I believe that's... Aggro Loam versus the Eldrazi Menace.
So Aggro Loam won.
I believe so, yes.
There we go. One of us can do it.
How do you feel about that particular matchup, James?
Eldrazi is... Well, I mean, it's stressful because they can have a very fast clock, but they have a lot of non-basics, and that is exactly what we want to see. So you just wasteland them as much as possible. Sort of try... As soon as you get a night down, things go your way.
The deck does seem to stumble quite a bit once it hits the wasteland. So Justin pushing his deck forward, so he's presented that one, and we're just having Stephen push that forward.
Let's see, 2 big 7s and a hell of a game.
So it was 20 people who made it out here tonight for FNM, and it's sanctioned, so everyone owns their own deck, which is... lovely to see for such an old format that people are still willing to put in the effort to make decks like this.
Legacy did a bit better than Standard tonight, I see.
Yep, that's true as well.
Not a dying format. Yeah, Legacy's really booming in Melbourne.
Yep, and we're really grateful to General Games for supporting this format for us as well. So Stephen leads off on Thoughtseize off a basic into Green Suns, playing around the...
Ooh, 2 basics.
And a second basic to play around the wasteland. He
there we go.
May or may not know it's there.
Turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Bob. That's exactly what John wants to do.
That's right. It sounds like what fairies used to do back in Standard, actually. That was a long, long time ago, actually.
John Fairies. We got a Punishing Fire.
That was Thoughtseize into Beta Blossom, actually. But still quite a scary. Pretty much. It's a lot of card advantage. And we see Punishing Fire, but no Grove yet. So Justin down to 2 cards from what I can see. So,
and here we go.
Wastelands.
Has he got a follow-up play?
There's a Fatal Push there. What else have we got?
Things that you very often see in these mid-range offs is that you keep very removal-heavy hands, and neither of you are playing very many creatures.
Yeah, so I can see 2 more land there. There's a Fatal Push and there's another card. on Justin's side, we've got Life from the Loam.
That's going to be a big one.
That is quite nice, getting back those 5 land which have previously disappeared.
Bit of a low ancestral recall.
That's what they call it.
So, we got
2 fetches, 1 dual land, and that goes to the 2 cards that he had left. And Justin must really like having that card there.
I imagine he'll be shipping it back to Steven now.
Yep. And
Rip
just
cards.
showing how many cards he has. Passes it back.
We just
And that's a him to Turak, so
not great after that big. He's probably just going to hit another couple lands. So I can't imagine he's going to be firing that off here.
no, it's you want to try and eke the value out of it, like as you get into a later game. No, decides to fire it off anyway. That's interesting play.
He's feeling lucky.
So I believe there's 2 spells in here, and everything else is land. So I'll note there's possibly a 3rd one, but we'll see what happens.
We got land, and 2 spells.
3 land and 4 other cards.
Shuffling them up, and he's going to roll a dice, I assume.
Yeah, so we'll see
it
what
is F&M though, so he's probably just going to point.
we're pointing. Okay, and are we doing the dice for the second one? Oh, yep. Okay, 1 through 6. Take the 6th.
What do we got? Land and
Scavenging Ooze.
He hit. Steven is
That's a
lucky.
pretty
Great
good
at
one.
Magic.
Much better at me at these random things.
Justin elects to draw.
Yep.
Plays a Windswept Heath.
Okay, so fetches.
Play.
See if we
These
can get it.
Maverick lists tend to be a bit heavier on the basics, so I imagine we're going to see another one maybe.
Yeah, if we possibly can. Obviously, this is running 4 colors. The half a splash color for Deathrite Shaman in black, and
the
then
single Bayou, yeah.
Yep, that's right. Similar to what the Grixis decks do. And
one
he
elf
just
traps.
gets another green-white.
Alrighty, we got green, white, and do we have a play from Justin?
Well, I assume we do if he's fetching. It's interesting that Justin obviously has access to recurring his wastelands with the Life from the Loam, whereas Steven just has the 4 ones that he can get down, and then has to try and use them to try and...
So no loam engine from Steven.
No loam engine from
He's just
Steven.
going to push him off balance with those 4 wastelands throughout the course of the game.
That's right. And we see a fatal push on the Thalia and a bolt on the Mum.
There we go.
So,
Bolt your mum. Fatal push.
very
Your
similar to the
lieutenant.
first game where we just had no creatures in play and just trading removal all day long.
Alright,
So-
Justin with a bunch of lands.
And he's also got a Punishing Fire in there and plays Knight of the
Whoa.
Reliquary. So only 3 land in graveyard at the moment, so it's a 5/5, but
If that
can imagine
lives.
that getting quite big quite quickly.
Imagine he's going to untap and go straight for a Grove when he can. But
Yes,
we will
he's-
see if Steven has an answer for it.
That's right.
One off the
So-
top.
Last card in hand is, so we've got Lightning Bolt and a fetch. That Lightning Bolt is not quite doing enough in this situation.
Bit anemic seeing that big 6/6 now Knight of the Reliquary.
Yep.
He's going to be praying for an abrupt decay. But I imagine the Knight's going to pretty much achieve what it's hoping to do anyway, and that's to untap with it.
Yep.
Even if Steven manages to answer it later on, he's going to be finding himself a Grove, and he's hopefully going to be able to take over with those Punishing Fires.
Yeah. So would you be doing this on the end step of Steven, or and leave it up, or just get access to it as soon as you possibly can, do you think?
I think
Oh, wow. Life from the Loam dredges to
Dredging.
grow it.
he's trying to get it bigger, yeah.
Gets 1. Goes up to 5, so it's a 7/7 now, and plays its fetch land.
I tend to like to use my Knights at instant speed, generally.
No, that's...
Force them to do something, make the first move, and if they don't do anything, you just go get something at the end. Obviously, he can't go get a Thespian stage at the end, so I imagine he's going to start getting back his Punishing Fires, or he's attacking.
Wow, okay. Just getting in there for 7. So that puts Steven down to 8, and he's on a 2-turn clock. Post main phase, Justin shrinks his knight.
Attacks for 7, goes down to 4.
So it's very close to being able to be killed by that lightning bolt now.
Yeah, he's going to feel silly if that happens. He does have an active fetch land, though. So.
That's true.
Having a little peek there, Stephen, before he searches from his basic for his land.
Yep. And we're just doing a quick recount.
Fortnite. We got to fetch at end step, I assume, just for a bit of thinning.
Yep.
Hoping to draw gas.
Hoping to draw Abrupt Decay once again. Same as the first game.
A lot of those situations.
The Knight's just so much bigger than anything that Stephen has in his deck. Even the Tarmogoyfs, they're at their biggest 6/7s.
Stephen might have access to a Scavenging Ooze. I know that gets played in some Jund lists. That is a bit of a hassle for these Knight decks, but especially if he was managed to play it now while he's tapped out.
Yeah, no, that definitely makes sense.
He has drawn a Thoughtseize.
So
fire it off.
Have a quick look at what's in. Nope, we're not going to see what's in Justin hands.
About it again.
Looks like it's just the Punishing Fire and the one land. So he may even, if he Thoughtseizes, I think that's just immediately lethal because you Punishing Fire in response and then swing in for lethal.
I probably wouldn't.
You can see Stephen doing the maths in his head anyway.
Yeah, so I think he knows there's the Punishing Fire in his hand, so that's going to be doing 2 damage to him regardless of the Thoughtseize.
I don't think we do know about this Punishing Fire because we haven't actually seen it
the
yet.
other one's still in the bin, right?
That's right. So he didn't go for the Grove, so this one's just Hidden Fire.
Do you fire it off?
So just both players trying to make the right decision. Stephen elects not to go with
Ships it back.
With the Thoughtseize in this case. So if Justin plays his fetch land, fetch twice, that goes back up to a 6/6 Knight, and then Punishing Fire for the last 2 damage. So we should just see that as the end of this match.
Big old Knight of the Reliquary for 6 and Punishing Fire for 2 to lock it up.
And for winning this FNM, we obviously get the FNM promo. It's a Renegade Rallier at the moment, which is not actually the worst card in this particular deck. You can get back pretty much any single card they've got in their graveyard, which is a permanent, and Wasteland's obviously good as Knights.
There we go.
And there's the win.
Locking it up there.
It extends the hand for the handshake.
So we definitely saw a pretty good example of the Punishing Fire combo taking over the mid-range matchups.
That's right. And just the strength of what Knight of the Reliquary can do if you just leave it unchecked.
Absolutely, yeah. We saw Justin to get play. He was able to play with all of his engines, and Stephen eventually was not able to keep up with the card advantage that Knight of the Punishing Fire.
Knight of the Punishing Fire.
It's the set, yeah.
It's pretty much the same card.
Knight of the Punishing Fire.
Yeah, maybe we should just rename the deck to that. And you can see just like Justin's bought in a lot of cards which are just recurring card advantage there. So you've got the Life from the Loam and the Sylvan Library there. Or did you take those out?
So no, the Life from the Loam is definitely in the sideboard. That
yep, that makes sense.
Yeah. So Justin's won himself a Renegade Rallier. It's something he gets to add to his maybe board. That is a 3-drop. Hello again. So Justin taking down FNM, Stephen with a 3-1.
Yep.
I think it may have actually gone a little different if we had seen Stephen with the Punishing Fire combo in his own deck and some more Life from the Loam engines. That tends to be what breaks the mirrors in these mid-range offs.
Yep. So that was very much the day for the mid-range decks. Multiple of them taking out combo decks, as we saw Storm getting beaten by Jund earlier on, and the Delver deck
pretty great.
The Delver deck got defeated by Punishing Maverick, which is obviously what it's been set up to do. And once again, just seeing the power of Knight of the Reliquary there. So it's been a great night. Thank you all for watching. And thank you very much for General Games. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitch and YouTube. So hope to see you soon for more of this legacy content.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.